Pakistan Karachi bomb blast kills dozens. The BBC's Mike Wooldridge said the attack would be deeply worrying for the government. At least 45 people have been killed by a bomb explosion in the Pakistani city of Karachi, police say. The blast in the mainly Shia Muslim area of Abbas town destroyed several buildings and set others on fire. Some reports spoke of a second explosion. No group yet has said it planted the bomb, which went off near a mosque as worshippers left evening prayers. Pakistan's Shia minority are the target of frequent sectarian attacks from Sunni militant groups. The explosion sent a huge column of smoke into the sky above Karachi and caused a power cut in part of the city. Police are investigating whether it was a suicide attack. Rescuers have been struggling to reach people trapped under the rubble. Residents have been using car headlights to help the search for survivors, local media reports said. Around 150 people were wounded by the explosion, officials said. I was watching television when I heard an explosion and my flat was badly shaken. Karachi resident Mariam Bibi told Reuters news agency. I saw people burning to death and crying with pain. I saw children lying in pools of their own blood and women running around shouting for their children and loved ones, she added. Rescue work was delayed as some residents fired guns into the air in anger at the carnage, reports say. Sectarian divide. Pakistan's main political and religious leaders rushed to condemn the attack, the latest to target the Shia minority. Nearly 200 people were killed in two separate bombings targeting the Shia community in the southwestern city of Quetta in January and February. Some relatives of the victims there initially refused to bury their dead in protest at what they said was the failure of the authorities to protect their community from attack. No group has yet admitted to carrying out the Karachi bombing, but correspondents say suspicion is likely to fall on Sunni militant groups. Groups such as Lashkar-e-Jhangvi report Shia Muslims as heretics and have stepped up attacks in recent years. They are thought to have set several training camps for militants, and police seizures have shown they have access to large quantities of weapons and explosives. The BBC's M. Ilyas Khan in Islamabad says. Sunni and Shia Muslims. Muslims are split into the two main branches, the Sunnis and Shias. The split originates in a dispute soon after the death of the Prophet Muhammad over who should lead the Muslim community. There are also differences in doctrine, ritual, law, theology, and religious organization. The great majority of Muslims are Sunnis. Pakistan, where Shias are a minority, has a history of sectarian bloodshed dating back to the 1980s. Some activists called 2012 the worst year in living memory for attacks on Pakistan's Shia community. But already this year, bombings in the southwestern of Quetta alone have killed nearly 200 people. Last month, Pakistan's Supreme Court called on the authorities to devise a strategy to protect Shia Muslims more effectively, given the increase in attacks. Karachi, Pakistan's biggest city and commercial capital, has a long history of violence. As well as a sectarian divide between Sunni and Shia, that city has also seen conflict between different ethnic communities, Pashtuns from northwest Pakistan, Muhajirs, immigrants from India following the partition, and Sindhis.
It was a powerful blast, and a number of buildings were set ablaze. Parts of some of those buildings collapsed. A lot of rubble was created, and rescuers searched among that rubble to find survivors. So it's quite clear that a lot of those injuries will have been horrific. It took place close to a mosque where Shiites were just coming out of evening prayers. And this, anyway, was a very busy time of the evening. Men, women and children were all casualties of this. This will be deeply worrying for the government because there's been a considerable rise in sectarian violence, the targeted killings of Shia Muslims. They make up around 20% of Pakistan's overall population of 180 million, particularly in recent times in the city, the southwestern city of Quetta, a total of nearly 200 people killed there in just the first 2 months of this year. Now, last year, Human Rights Watch, for example, has calculated that over 400 Shiites were killed in targeted attacks. So this is just within 2 months in one place, nearly 200, and now this on top of it. So it all reinforces this worrying trend of sectarian violence along all the other problems, challenges facing Pakistan, and is very much a challenge, of course, for the government to test of its capacity to protect Shiites, to rein in this kind of sectarian violence, as Parliament will shortly be dissolved and Pakistan will head towards election.